The question is, does it involve cells moving between the animals, or are just soluble components? And it has definitely been tried with filters such that no whole cells can get across from one animal to another. So there's some soluble molecular component of some kind that is causing these effects. Any other questions?
Well, how are we saving money by making everybody live until they're 100?
Okay, so how are we saving money by letting everybody live until they're 150? So almost all of our healthcare costs are spent in the last few moments of life, like some huge Pareto-like ratio. So for one thing, if people live, say, twice as long, but still, but they only have to die once, basically. So you only have to pay the death price once. Similarly, we also have a huge baby boom lump right now, and anything we can do to kind of smear that out will make a huge difference to our overall financial security. For another thing, a lot of the existing aging-related diseases are like really horrible, nasty ways to die. And it's thought that if we can deal with those such that other things just run out later, then it can be potentially less expensive. But for the procrastinator in us, minimally, just delaying things helps. Getting a loan from the future.
But doesn't that make their death period longer?
Does it make their debt period longer?
Their death.
Oh, their death period.
In other words, if you extend life, aren't you not extending the period in which they're spiraling down?
Unclear. Without having any knowledge to the contrary, I would assume that their death spiral is probably going to be similar to anyone else's death spiral. Any other questions? Yeah.
Could you say anything about invalidating the world's actuarial tables?
So basically, it will also create jobs because we really don't have a whole lot of actuaries right now. But since all the world's actuarial tables would have to be rewritten, we would have lots more jobs for capacity people. Great.
I could talk about, don't you think the fact, like, we have not actually increased the age of retirement today, for example. So don't you think there's some policy implications to this? For example, if you're over a certain age, it's very hard to find a job or be employed. If you are, even now we recognize that people, when 65 was chosen the age of retirement, the assumption was everybody would die at 66. And now
So
you live for 20 years more.
Retirement age was chosen a long time ago when the people's expected lifespan was very similar to the retirement age. So the lucky ones got to live a few extra years in a cushy circumstance, and the unlucky ones, died the working man's death, like they do in Japan all the time. Well, they have a word for it in Japan, right? I forgot what it was, but you just work so hard you die. Obviously something already has to change about the retirement age. Now people are living to an average of 80-something and they're retiring at 60-something. There's this massive 1/3 of their entire lifespan average sort of welfare program happening for people who are still mostly pretty agile and able and capable. So I don't consider that my problem. It's got to be fixed anyway. I think ideally we would have a system in which if people are healthy and functional, then they should keep doing the stuff they're doing. And if they're starting to have problems, then we should help them and be nice to them and support them and protect them. But obviously, I also look at I love the things that I do, and so I have a good time. So I have a hard time differentiating work from life. Any other questions? Yay. Okay. Thank you very, very much. If you want to get involved again, just email me or Twitter me or